Hello everyone, welcome to the Totally Well Show. I'm your host, Joyce Strong. The Totally Well Show is a place where we get curious, ask questions, and explore everything to do with health, wellness, fitness, and all the things it takes to help you live the highest quality, most fulfilling life. I'm here today with Karen Campbell. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Joyce. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for taking the time out of your day and your busy schedule to come see me. Excuse me. Karen is a grief and spiritual counselor, a Reiki master, and a Reiki teacher, and has lots of fun things to share with us today. I have so many questions, Karen. I just want to make sure I let you know about how to find her. You can go to, I'm just going to cough, talking about coughing, excuse me, www.griefhealingconnections with an S.com, and also a Facebook group, not a group, but a Facebook page, Grief and Healing Connections. So you can find her, and also just searching Karen Campbell. And she sees people over at Dragonfly and Devon's. So, so much to ask you about. So your background as far as your education, Karen, you have a master's in
mental health counseling.
Mental health counseling.
Yes, I took the brave step. I went back to grad school when I turned 40.
Oh my.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So a little bit, I'd like to know a little bit more about you. Are you married? Do you have kids?
Yes. So I grew up in Lowell.
Yeah.
And I'm still in the area. My husband grew up right near me, but we met at the University of Lowell.
Yeah.
And I had a business degree from there. I did retail management and then had 3 children, and I was thrilled to stay home with them. And I loved being home, and we did a lot of fun things, and it was very meaningful. So I knew someday they would grow up, I'd have to grow up, and I wanted to do something meaningful. So I did that inventory. What am I good at? What do I enjoy? And counseling was high on the list.
Yeah.
And I had spent my childhood and young adulthood visiting elderly relatives and being present to many people who had died. So I thought, this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
And I knew from my own experiences how valuable support is.
Yeah.
And how people reacted to grief and the grief of others.
Yeah.
And
how far
I
back
explored
does this
that.
go in your life? Like as a young child?
Yes.
When you did this
Yes.
assessment?
Well, the first experience with death was when I was 3, and I was told Nana went to sleep with Jesus, which is not what you say to children. So I slept again 20 years later. So, yes, my parents didn't have a background in grief studies.
Oh my gosh.
So when my children were growing up, I surveyed my friends. What do you think of this idea? And it was very positive feedback. Your friends know you.
Yeah.
And my friends are very honest because they don't want to hear me complain about it later. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So just to step back, what do you say to children?
Well, at first I like to know what the family is going to be saying. What are their beliefs? What's their religious upbringing? What's their spiritual belief? What is the language that they use? And you take from there. Because if I tell the child something or suggest something, it could be totally different from the family.
Right.
So you don't ever want to go against what the family is saying. Even if it's not my deep belief,
Yeah.
you need to know what the language is in the family.
Got it. So customized.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and that's very important because the child needs support going forward.
Sure. Yeah.
If it's something that I have found that might be difficult for the child, I'll speak to the parents or the family and have some suggestions. There's a lot of material out there.
Yeah, to
that's
support
very
them.
helpful.
So you were 3 when you lost your grandmother, and you remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do remember, and I remember that, she went to sleep with Jesus.
Yeah.
And
So was your first experience one of afraid?
Yes,
Afraid?
absolutely afraid.
And then how did
And
you
then
start to get comfortable with
Well,
talking about this difficult subject?
the good news is it was a very large family, very large extended family, and there were many deaths. And I was able to go to the wakes and to the funerals and see how families supported each other.
Yeah.
And
How old were you when you first went to a wake or a funeral?
8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you remember that?
I do. I remember that vividly.
Yeah.
And I was amazed at, some of the relatives were very supportive and others were very cold. You saw the snapshot of society. Like, You know,
Sure.
the supportive, the disengaged, the frightened,
Yeah.
and I found it fascinating. But
Wow.
I had a very strong belief in what happens when we die. So, and that just kept growing.
That started even at a young age?
Yes, it did.
Wow. I think oftentimes when, and I know this is true for me, when people decide on a career, it's not like it just happened. It really had roots someplace.
It does.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's why I was asking those questions.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And then, you know, going forward, you know, observing, you know, my feelings and how people react to different things, and then the need for support.
Yeah.
It's-
When you say support, like I love these terms because we can just gloss over
Well,
them.
they're very vague, yeah.
Yeah, they're vague, but I know it means something very specific
It
to you.
does.
Can you tell me some of your ideas around that
So
word?
to support someone doesn't mean to direct them. It doesn't mean to debate. It means to hold space for them. How are they feeling about something, and be witness to their feelings, and then maybe engage in conversation, but to allow them to have their feelings. And when I am offering support to someone, I'm witnessing their story, allowing them to repeat the story as many times as they need to, and then, you know, in conversation, maybe some suggestions. Maybe what I bring to the table is the knowledge of what other people have gone through. So, you know, someone who's never experienced the death of a loved one and has never talked about it might benefit from hearing the stories of others. So there's different ways to give support. Not everybody can sit and bear witness to someone's story, but they can send a card, they can check in, they can drop off a meal, they can be present in other ways. So sometimes, you know, somebody might say to me, gee, my friend's mother died, I don't know what to do, this stuff freaks me out. Okay, well, you know, a text every now and then throughout the week, hey, I'm thinking of you. Hey, let's go to lunch. You don't have to get into the nitty-gritty of feelings, but you can still be a supportive presence by being there.
Do people who are in grief want that?
Some do. People, and I really advise people to take charge of their grief. Be the pioneer. Your friends don't know what to do with you, let them know. Let them know, I would like to go to the movies sometime. I would like to go to dinner. I don't want to go to that party.
Yeah. I could imagine in some people being well-meaning, and that's one of my fears when approaching somebody who's in grief, just not knowing the right thing and being so fearful of saying the wrong thing, I might say nothing.
Right. Nothing is okay.
Yeah.
A hug is okay.
Yeah.
Hug, you know, squeeze the arm, just being present. A smile does wonders for the other heart. It really does. Because, yes, the best thing to do is avoid the cliches.
Yeah. Like what?
Oh, they're in a better place, which, you know what, you might really believe that, and it's probably true, but when you're in the line at the wake and you hear that 300 times, the meaning is lost.
Yeah. And it's not really validating the current present feeling of the other. Is that,
It's
am I
true.
correct? Okay.
It's true, because when you're grieving, you know, you're in pain. That's the typical grief. So there's different types of grief. So there's the grief that that we're familiar with. You know, someone is suffering, they're grieving the loss of their spouse, their parent, their child, a close loved one. Then there's different types of grief. There's the grief that you experience for a coworker, for a friend, which could be even more meaningful to you depending on relationships. There's grief that means relief. We don't like to acknowledge that very often. There's grief associated with losses not due to death. Breakups, divorces, pets, job loss, health loss. There's anything that you once had and now you don't, you grieve.
So help me with this. You lost a pet.
Yes, I did the other day.
I'm going to cry. How do I help you with that?
You did. You acknowledged it. And so that's meaningful to me. because not everybody will do that. And my pets are very special to me. I've been very involved in animal rescue for over 20 years, and I absolutely love my pets.
We're both crying now. Yes. But yes, I mean, I knew about it because you shared it, and
Yes.
oftentimes people do because it's like memorializing
Yes.
our loved ones, and my pets also are for me. I was like, I've had this dog longer than I've had my children.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
so
And they don't talk back.
and they don't. Well, not in human language.
Right.
But they do find a way. Anyway, I noticed that, and I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. No, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
See, that was terrific. You acknowledged it, and it really does matter to me. And I will share things like that on social media because I want people to realize it's okay to grieve your pets. They're
Yeah.
very special,
Yeah.
and they're in your day-to-day living. You know, you might have been close to someone else in your family or in your social circle, but they're not in your day-to-day living. Day-to-day in your house has quite the impact.
Oh yeah, they see me undressed, go to the bathroom,
Yep.
all my personal spaces.
That they do, and they don't get on the keyboard and tell about it. We're grateful for that.
Yeah, that's funny. I know. I've definitely told my pets some secrets. So,
Yes, I do offer support for pet loss.
you do,
Grief and
yeah.
Healing
I'm
Connections. It's very
legit
important.
tearing here.
Yes.
Uh,
Well, that's real. That comes from the heart. And animals, they have a way of comforting us. They're special.
So I wanted to ask, since I first met you, it seems like you've grown. I know in the past, I'm going to take a quick step back and then go into some of the tools that you're using. So you did hospice. I know a lot of the people in our community here in Groton and beyond know you for that because you've been in a lot of homes and
Yes.
so
It was wonderful. It was an honor.
Yeah.
Absolute honor. I was involved in hospice for almost 9 years in this area.
Yeah.
And I ran support groups and libraries and senior centers, and I got to meet wonderful, wonderful people in the community. I'm very blessed for that.
yeah.
And I miss them.
Yeah.
You know, I miss being out in the community and seeing my field people.
Yeah. And then now that you've gone into your practice, you've got some tools and some things that you're studying.
Yes.
So you mentioned to me one called REAP,
Yes.
R-E-A-P. Can you tell me a little bit about
So
that?
that's a remote energy alignment process, and it was developed by Pamela DeSalt, who is also associated with Dragonfly.
Okay.
And
Dragonfly
fascinating.
is a consortium or a group?
Right, we're a collaborative.
Collaborative.
Dragonfly Wellness Center is owned by Ann Ferguson, and different practitioners are there as part of the collaborative, and there are other people that also come in and teach classes.
Okay.
So it's worth checking out.
Yeah. Over at Devon's. But anyway, so
yes.
on to REAP.
So REAP it's no touch, and it can be done in person, it can be done remotely, and it's an energy healing that's done just by connecting with what we call the universal source. People say the highest energy, God, heaven, whatever language you are comfortable with. And then the practitioner connects with you through energy, and the goal is to activate healing centers throughout your body. So similar to Reiki in some way and other energies, but this one, Pamela took a really good look at all the systems, the energy systems in the body, and she pinpointed 11 healing centers that the practitioner connects with. And it's funny, I have a group of friends that I've been friends with since grammar school, and they're my test. Anytime I learn something, I test on them.
Yeah.
And they came back with rave reviews about REAP.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
Nice.
yes. And it's a comfortable practice. You know, you're seated comfortably or however you'd like to be, and the practitioner just sits and speaks to you quietly, and the energy is activated.
When you do it remotely, is it on the phone, or do you have to have a visual as well? Like
It can be on the phone.
yeah, okay.
Sure.
So just voice.
Yes.
Yeah. How does it differ from Reiki?
So Reiki, Reiki has the different language. Reiki focuses on mind, body, and soul, as does REAP. Reiki can be hands-on. And some people find that much more soothing because they enjoy the human touch.
It can be
the
both,
warmth.
though, right?
It can
as
be.
well?
It can be hands,
Yeah.
hands above.
Yeah.
And Reiki can be done once. There's different levels in Reiki, so a level 2 practitioner can also do Reiki remotely.
Okay. So you've gotten to a point now where you're a Reiki master and you teach it.
Yes.
So people can come to you to become Reiki masters?
Yes, we would start level 1, level 2, and then on to the Reiki master level.
Okay,
So
so
it's a
there's
series.
series.
Level 1, you really should practice for a while on yourself and loved ones. You know. Level 2, you can expand your circle of practice, and then master. But there should be some practice time in between the
How long does
levels.
it take for somebody to become a Reiki master?
Well, I took a long time because I was content with level 1 and level 2 for a while, so I took a few years. It depends on the teachers and their philosophy. I would say a few months. I would give it a few months between level 2 and master.
So overall, like once a person is first introduced to it, like is it a year-long process? Is it hours? Is it
I wouldn't be
skill
comfortable with
assessment?
hours. I would say a few months, depending on skill assessment would be good, depending on how much experience they're going to have with it. You know, you don't take level 1, do Reiki a few times on yourself, and then say, okay, I'm ready to be a master.
Got it.
You really should have more practice time and with different people.
Got it.
So you learn, you know, some people are comfortable this way, some people don't like this at all, you know, how to approach people and discuss it. There should be practice time.
Got it. It's like with me learning hockey as an adult. I
Oh, you're
learned
so
this.
brave.
I learned this term called recently called collapsing time, and just the idea, which is what I did because I am a better skater than a lot of people who've played their whole lives because I intensely practiced intentionally and you know intensely, and I had a goal in mind. So I wanted to become expert in certain things, and I did. So I was able to, you know, in a way, collapse time. So I kind of think I'm getting that there
Yes.
isn't that, it's not like you go to nursing school and you become a nurse.
Exactly.
Which is just, it doesn't make sense anyway because I didn't really become a good nurse until after I finished nursing school when I started really learning.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I would say to someone, you know, don't bank on certain time frames
Yeah.
for Reiki.
Yeah.
And you might not want to. You might say, well, I just want to do this for myself for a while.
Yeah.
And Reiki is wonderful for pets.
Yeah.
Just want to toss that in there.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see what else I wanted to ask you. Oh, you talked about doing meditation. I know with
Yes.
a lot of my clients come to me, and stress is really one of the top things in their lives. And I've heard more and more and more about how finding a good meditation teacher and the right type of meditation for you.
Right.
So can you tell me
Meditation is just wonderful. And we've started this at Dragonfly every Monday. And the intention is to find peace within yourself and bring that peace out into the community, into the world, because we have a troubled time right now. And the more peace we can put out there, the better for all. Meditation practice it's personal. You know, there's no exact one right way. It's what's right for you. So what's right for you could be seated on the cushion and just focusing on your breath. It could be focusing on an object or a mantra, you know, saying a verse over and over again. The meditation could be walking. You know, you're walking and you're just trying to clear your mind, and that's the key. The key is to keep the mind clear from engaging in intrusive thoughts. So a thought might come into your head like, you know, I really can't stand work. Okay, that's a thought. Don't engage it. Don't go on to the 10 million reasons why you're not liking your job. Okay, I don't like work. Let it go. Let it flow down the river.
Noticing it.
Yes,
Yeah.
but not engaging it.
Got it.
So, okay, it's okay to look at it, but let it keep going. So you don't fail at meditation if a thought comes into your mind, but the key is don't engage the thought. Put it on the river and let it flow downstream.
Yeah,
Just let it
I
keep
love that.
flowing.
Yeah.
Let's There's, physical activity can be meditative. I feel very relaxed and in a meditative state when I'm cooking. You're preparing a meal, you're peeling and you're chopping and you're getting everything ready, and you keep your mind clear. Excuse me. Grooming the dog can be meditative.
Yeah.
So there's different ways, but to develop a practice that you can turn to for an hour, 90 minutes, 5 minutes. If say you're in between appointments and you're stressed out, 5 minutes. Sit in your car for 5 minutes and look at a tree and try to clear that mind. It's very, very important. I have seen the impact. My husband and I started meditating about 3 years ago, and what a difference. And it gives you, especially if you're in a friend group or in a couple situation, it gives you a reference point to discuss it. He might be going on about stress, and he'll say, okay, well, what did you do about it? Oh, yeah, I should have meditated. And same thing with me.
So do you do it together when you meditate? Yeah.
We do when we go out to meditate,
Yeah.
and then at home sometimes, but a lot of individual meditation.
But you both know what it is when you
Yes.
say point of reference, so you
Yes.
both know what you're talking about and the benefits. Can you speak at all about how it's personally benefited you, like some of the health benefits?
Oh,
or?
it's a great tool. It's a great tool to calm myself, to pull myself out of those unhealthy cycles you get into. You get upset about something, and I think of the hamster on the wheel. And so you have this thought, and you keep going around this hamster wheel, and you think about it, and you rant and rave about it, and it doesn't do any good, especially if it's something that you can't change.
Yeah.
So instead of getting on the hamster wheel, get on the cushion, breathe, calm down.
You have nice expressions. I like that. I think that in my work with coaching people, working with people, whether it's health education or nutrition or just lifestyle change, I find we have a certain amount of information. The brain needs to make sense of it. So we make up stories. And
Oh, we do.
when I say that to people, it's like, it's not invented. This really happened. I'm like, yeah, but the facts happened, but we could all make up a story.
We do.
And so that's where I find meditation to be so helpful, because it's like, all right, those are the facts. They can't change, but the story, is completely invented.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a terrific book, The 4 Agreements,
Yeah.
and that's been a wonderful tool.
Yeah.
And that,
You want to quickly go over the 4 agreements?
So the 4 Agreements by Ruiz, terrific book, pick it up. The first agreement is speak your truth, right?
Yeah.
The second one is don't take things personally, which is not an easy thing to do, especially if you grew up always guilty about something, right?
Yeah.
And the third one is don't make assumptions, which we all do.
Yeah.
That work situation, you're making assumptions.
Oh,
This
you've
happened,
got to
and then
make
you
sense of
answer it.
something, and
Right.
so you're trying.
You try.
Yeah.
And the fourth one is always do your best, knowing that your best can be different depending on the situation. My best today is okay, but my best with a migraine is really, I should just stay home. But
Yeah.
but that book explains those 4 agreements in such a simple, well thought out manner that you can actually understand it and say, I can apply this. So I do recommend that. That's one of the books that I highly recommend. And it ties in with the meditation. You're sitting there, something comes in, all right, I'm not going to take that personally, because that person is reacting to me based on them, not me. I'm not going to make that assumption because I don't know. Why would I make that assumption? Let it go. So it helps in meditation to have that book as a reference point.
Yeah.
But meditation, it's so good. You learn how to control your breathing, how to clear the mind, how to actually take time for yourself. And then it's almost like you're pushing a reset button. You take yourself out of your stress and the chaos, put yourself into a meditative state, and when you come out of that state, all right, you're breathing. All right, now I can deal with this. I remember when my kids were little and they'd be stressing out over homework, I'd say, put it down, jump in the shower, or jump in the pool, or just take yourself out of that chaos,
Yeah.
disengage, go refresh.
Yeah.
To me, that's what meditation does. It
So you're physically, and I know this, scientifically, that you're changing your biochemistry. You're giving yourself different chemicals.
Yes.
And it drives.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It's mind, body, soul.
Yeah,
It really
it's all
is.
working together.
It
Yeah.
does. We say soul and spirit a lot. Spirituality is a key component, and it's not religion. Religion is part of it if that's your choice, but your spirituality is what feeds you. So whether it's meditation, being in nature, going to church, whatever it is that feeds you is so important. If you don't pay attention to that, your stress level and your health is negatively impacted.
Spirituality is what feeds you? Is that what you said?
Feeds your soul. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. We take care of, I always say take 5. So you take care of your physical body, your mental health, you keep the brain engaged, always keep learning. And then, of course, the next finger is your emotional self.
I don't know if you guys noticed.
So, looking at that finger will remind you, you don't want to be flipping that out everywhere. You want to be in charge of those emotions. The next finger, your ring finger, your social life, those connections. And it's okay to have boundaries, especially during a stressful time. You need to be taking care of you, not always taking care of everybody else. So boundaries are good. And then you have your spirituality. You need that. That's who you are inside, what feeds you. Is it music? Is it art? Is it nature? It's not just sitting in a pew. That can be good too, but
Kind of pulls it all together.
yeah.
So we're already almost out of time.
Oh.
I told you we'd go fast. I wanted to ask you, and I kind of have a sense what the answer is going to be, but I'm going to let you say it. What are the top 3 things it takes for you, Karen, to be totally well?
To be totally well, I need to be comfortable with me, with my choices and what's going on in my life. My relationships need to be healthy, and my spirituality. Yeah. So,
And how do you feed?
How do I feed that?
Yeah.
With my connections, with nature, with pets.
Yeah.
Continually to learn. And learning about spirituality as well. There's so many teachers out there.
Yeah.
Meditation and doing for others
Yeah.
does feed that. When you do for others, you're feeding your soul. We're here to learn lessons and to help each other, and that does it for me.
It's such a common thread with people who come on this show. Yeah.
Right.
It really is. Well, we're out of time.
Wow.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come and visit with us today. And please reach out to Karen Campbell and at griefhealingconnections.com and on Facebook, Grief and Healing Connections, and over at Dragonfly.
Yes, thank you very much.
And
thank you for watching, and thank you. This is wonderful that you do this.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
terrific.
And just like with what you said, it feeds my soul to know that
Terrific.
we, as a team, because we're so loosely connected and
Right.
are, we're all independent practitioners, so to be able to have the more formal collaborative, but a informal collaborative like
Yes.
this.
It's wonderful.
can do
Thank you
that.
for what you do.
Thank you.